Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is VC Pramod with the Midday News. The headlines. Congress weakening fight against COVID-19 pandemic, says Law Minister and BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad. Compulsory hotel quarantine period for Indians returning from abroad reduced to 7 days from 14 days. Centre asks states to ensure refund of extra charges. ICMR ramps up testing. 624 laboratories across India approved till now to conduct COVID-19 tests. Air Force operationalizes second squadron of indigenous combat aircraft Tejas. And new areas inundated in Assam due to incessant rains, several rivers flowing above danger level. Union Minister and senior BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad today hit out at Congress leader Rahul Gandhi, accusing him of trying to weaken the country's resolve to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Talking to media in New Delhi, Mr. Prasad alleged that Mr. Gandhi is misleading the nation by resorting to falsehood. He said Rahul Gandhi is trying to weaken the resolve of the country by spreading negativity, working against the nation in times of crisis, and spreading false facts and false news.
राहुल गांधी के बारे में विस्तार से बताना चाहता हूं। देश का संकल्प उन्होंने कैसे कमजोर करने की कोशिश की। Spreading negativity, working against the nation during crisis. तीसरा, hungry for false credit. चौथा, say one thing, does something else. और पांचवा है misinformation or fake news.
Mr. Prasad said the Congress leader earlier said that lockdown is not a solution against COVID-19, but on the contrary, Punjab and Rajasthan imposed lockdowns and Maharashtra also extended it till the 31st of this month. He said Mr. Gandhi also levelled false allegations against the NDA government that fares are being charged from the migrant workers on Shramik special trains. Mr. Prasad said many times the government has clarified that no fare is being charged from the migrant workers, as 85% of the travel fare is being borne by the Ministry of Railways and 15% by the states. He said the Prime Minister has united the country through the lockdown, and this is the result that India reported less deaths due to coronavirus in comparison to the other developed countries.
कोरोना की कोई दवा नहीं, दुआ है और लॉकडाउन है। तो लॉकडाउन करके माननीय प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने जो हिम्मत दिखाई है, जो देश को नेतृत्व दिया है, जो पूरे देश को एक साथ जोड़कर काम करने की कोशिश की है, उसका ये फायदा है।
Mr. Prasad said Rahul Gandhi also accused that the Indian Council of Medical Research, ICMR, has created a mess in the purchase, and for the first time, ICMR had to explain that it has not made any such purchase. He said Rahul Gandhi has made false allegations against such organizations in political opposition. He said more than 11 crore people of the country have downloaded Arogya Setu app, and it is completely safe in the case of privacy. The centre has asked the states to ensure refund of 7 days extra charges taken by the hotels for quarantine from the Indians coming back from abroad. This comes in the backdrop of Ministry of Health and Family Affairs revising the guidelines for Indians returning to stay in hotel quarantine for 7 days and remaining 7 days in home isolation. Such people had booked the hotels in advance for 14 days. The direction to the state chief secretaries was issued by the Union Home Secretary amidst reports that some of the hotels are refusing to refund the remaining 7 days advance payment. Chief secretaries have been asked to direct hotels to charge only for 7 days and refund the balance.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said therapeutics, diagnostics and vaccines for the whole world is the only way out of the present pandemic. In a series of tweets, he said a global pool of resources has to be built to pay for the risk, research, manufacturing and distribution with conditions that rewards must be available to everyone. He called upon Gates Foundation to enhance their role and use innovative methods to improve healthcare. The minister was responding to Gates Foundation's tweet in which it congratulated Dr. Harshvardhan on being elected as the chairman of the WHO Executive Board. The minister said his motto is to ensure health for those without wealth.
Health Ministry has reiterated its appeal to the people to follow hand hygiene and social distancing norms to contain the spread of COVID-19 infection. In a series of tweets, the ministry has stressed that, as a part of the new normal, people should always follow social distancing norms and wash their hands with soap and water or use alcohol-based hand sanitizer. The ministry said spitting in public is a punishable offence and it increases the risk of the spread of coronavirus. A report.
Health Ministry has urged people to wear face covers to protect themselves and break the chain of corona outbreak. It has also asked people to share authentic information and encourage people if they develop symptoms to get tested. Stigma can discourage people from seeking immediate help and contribute to more severe health problems. Therefore, it is important to break the stigma. Maintaining 2 gaj ki duri is important to ensure everyone's security. People should avoid touching their hands, nose and mouth. They should also refrain from consuming smokeless tobacco products and spitting, as it will not only improve the level of basic hygiene, but will also prevent the spread of coronavirus. If anyone develops symptoms like fever, cough and difficulty in breathing, they must immediately call the All India helpline number 1075. Suparna Saikia, AIR News, Delhi.
Indian Council of Medical Research ICMR said that a total 1,16,041 samples of coronavirus were tested in the last 24 hours. With this, figure of total number of tests reached 32,42,160 in the country. Meanwhile, ICMR is continuously scaling up its testing facilities for COVID-19 by giving approval to government and private laboratories. As of now, total 624 laboratories across India have been given approval to conduct the tests for COVID-19, including 435 government laboratories and 189 private laboratory chains. The scale and size of Arogya Setu is 115 million and it cuts across every smartphone and IVRS in 12 languages. Announcing it yesterday in New Delhi, Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant said it is a unique thing as no other government product anywhere in the world has been open sourced at this scale.
Arogya Setu, India's COVID-19 contact tracing, syndromic mapping and self-assessment mobile application is now open source. Transparency, privacy and security have been the core design principles of Arogya Setu since its inception, and opening the source code up to the developer community signifies Government of India's continuing commitment to these principles.
Food and Consumer Affairs Minister Ram Vilas Paswan today urged the states to take seriously the quality of food grains being supplied from ration shops and especially the food being distributed in the quarantine centres. This came in the wake of media reports of distribution of poor quality food grains. In a tweet, Mr. Paswan said the centre sends food grains to the state governments through FCI, which does not compromise on the standard of quality. He said the officials of the states and the FCI are present at the time of supply.
Health and Family Welfare Ministry said that a total 64,426 people affected with coronavirus have been cured and the recovery rate has reached 42.45% in the country. During the last 24 hours, 3,935 people have recovered and 6,387 fresh cases of COVID-19 have been reported, taking the total number of cases to 1,51,767. Health Ministry said 170 deaths have been registered in the last 24 hours, taking the nationwide toll to 4,337. Air India today said one passenger on the Delhi-Ludhiana flight was found COVID positive yesterday. In a statement, the airline said the passenger was working in the security department of Alliance Air. The passenger travelled on a paid ticket. All passengers of flights are currently under quarantine. The COVID positive passenger was asymptomatic.
A total of 3,274 Shramik special trains have been operationalized from various states across the country till Monday. More than 44 lakh passengers have reached their home states by these trains. IRCTC distributed more than 74 lakh free meals and more than 1 crore water bottles to the travelling migrants. In addition to the Shramik specials, Railways plans to start 200 more timetable trains on the 1st of next month. Trains running today are not facing any congestion. Around 50 trains ran from various stations in Maharashtra carrying migrant workers to their home states. The Western Railways ran 20, while the Central Railways 27 till Tuesday midnight. More from our Mumbai correspondent.
Due to the ongoing face-off between Maharashtra government and Railway Ministry, Mumbai saw heavy crowding of migrant labourers outside two main railway stations in the city. Earlier, Railway Minister Piyush Goyal had tweeted that railways had planned 145 trains for Tuesday, but only 13 trains could be run due to lack of passengers. Nearly 7.5 lakh migrant labourers were ferried to their respective home states in more than 500 special trains from the state. Maharashtra Police informed that in last 24 hours, 75 police personnel have tested positive for COVID-19. Total number of positive cases in Maharashtra Police now stands at 1,964 with the death toll at 20. Total 849 personnel have recovered so far and 1,095 cases are active. Sonali Ghadiyar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
A senior railway official said that migrants are being sent back on a very large scale to their native places by the railways. Speaking exclusively to All India Radio, he said that special Shramik trains are being run from states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan and Delhi, and around 45 lakh migrants have been transported from one place to another. According to the senior official, concession in railway fares will only be given to patients and Divyangjans in reservation, and no other concession will be available for any other citizen, while senior citizens could avail preference in lower berths.
सभी कंसेशन जो हमारे मेन कैटेगरी के हैं, वो सभी कंसेशन जैसे कि पेशेंट्स हैं, दिव्यांगजन हैं, इनको छूट मिलेगी। लेकिन इन दो कैटेगरी के अलावा जो लोग हैं, उनको अभी रिजर्वेशन में कोई छूट नहीं है। जैसे सीनियर सिटीजन है, उनको रिजर्वेशन में छूट नहीं है, लेकिन उनका कोटा निर्धारित है। मतलब ये अगर कोई सीनियर सिटीजन यात्रा करना चाहते हैं तो हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि बहुत बुजुर्ग लोग ट्रेन में चलें आजकल। तो इस हेतु हम डिस्करेज करने के लिए अभी हमने कंसेशन ओपन नहीं किए हैं, लेकिन अगर आकस्मिकता के आधार पर किसी को चलना पड़ता है तो उसके लिए कोटा जरूर रहेगा कि वो लोअर बर्थ उनको प्राप्त हो जाए।
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Congress weakening fight against COVID-19 pandemic, says Law Minister and BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad. Compulsory hotel quarantine period for Indians returning from abroad reduced to 7 days from 14 days. Centre asks states to ensure refund of extra charges. ICMR ramps up testing. 624 laboratories across India approved till now to conduct COVID-19 tests. Air Force operationalizes second squadron of indigenous combat aircraft Tejas. New areas inundated in Assam due to incessant rains, several rivers flowing above the danger level. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. The Indian Air Force has operationalized its new Squadron number 18 flying bullets with the Light Combat Aircraft LCA Tejas today. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Chief Marshal R.K.S. Bhadauria, launched it at the Sulur Air Base near Coimbatore. The Flying Bullets serves as the second Indian Air Force squadron to operate with the modern multi-role fighter aircraft LCA Tejas. The first squadron to operate with the aircraft known as the number 45 Flying Daggers is also headquartered at the same base. More from our correspondent.
The indigenously developed light fighter aircraft LCA Tejas is certified with the full operational clearance standard. It is a tailless, fourth generation compound delta wing aircraft developed by the Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It is equipped with fly-by-wire flight control system, integrated digital avionics and multi-mode radar. The supersonic combat aircraft is considered the lightest and the smallest of its kind. Their new home, the Flying Bullets Squadron, was initially formed in 1965 and has the distinction of being the first to land in and operate from Srinagar. It was decorated with the highest gallantry medal, Paramveer Chakra, which was awarded posthumously to its flying officer Nirmaljit Singh Sekon for his valiant action during the 1971 war with Pakistan. The squadron has been revived on the 1st April this year at the Sulur base. It is set to further augment India's defense of her air frontiers. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
In Assam, new areas are inundated due to breach of embankments and roads. Several rivers are flowing above the danger level. Over 2 lakh people are affected in the first wave of floods in the state. NDRF and SDRF teams have been deployed at Gwalpada district in relief and rescue works. 9,000 people have been shifted to relief camps at Gwalpada and Tinsukia districts. Flood water also damaged over 1,000 hectares of crop areas. Train movements are also affected at Lumding, Badarpur division for a brief period due to landslides. However, train services resumed following the completion of restoration works.
Following Cyclone Umpun, Meghalaya witnessed heavy showers, cyclonic storm and hailstorm in various districts, triggering landslides, floods and washing off of roads and bridges affecting a large number of the population.
The rainstorm lashed out in different districts of Meghalaya in the past 24 hours, has damaged farms while uprooting trees, bringing down electric cables in different districts. The heavy downpour has triggered massive landslides, disrupting water supply and cutting off communications in different areas of the Khasi Hills and the Jaintia Hills. In West Garo Hills district, 11 relief camps are being set up to house people affected by the rain. Deputy Commissioner of the district, Ram Singh, informed yesterday that inmates in the relief camps are being provided with 1 week of food ration. Almost all homes in the flooded areas have been damaged, including standing crops, particularly paddy, have also been damaged in the several rice-growing areas of the district. Rustam for AIR News, Shillong.
Now let us take a look at the weather today. The heat wave conditions continued in New Delhi as the national capital is witnessing minimum 28 degrees and maximum 46 degrees Celsius. Mumbai with clear sky is witnessing minimum temperature at 27 degrees Celsius while maximum temperature remain around 35 degrees Celsius. In the south, Chennai is witnessing a partly cloudy sky. The temperature is hovering between a minimum of 30 and a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. Kolkata is witnessing a generally cloudy sky with possibility of thunder or lightning. The minimum temperature remained 29 degrees Celsius while maximum will be around 34 degrees. On to north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while maximum is going to be 42 degrees Celsius. The city will observe mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the evening. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature will remain 13 degrees Celsius, while maximum is going to be around 32 degrees. The city observes mainly clear sky, becoming partly cloudy towards the afternoon or the evening. In Gilgit, the temperature hovered between 13 and 36 degrees Celsius with clear sky conditions. Muzaffarabad had mainly clear skies becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. The minimum temperature will be 18 degrees Celsius while maximum temperature will be 39 degrees Celsius. In this difficult time of COVID-19 pandemic, it has been reported in certain places that corona warriors and corona patients are facing stigma due to a fear about coronavirus. Dr. Neeraj Nischal from AIIMS, Delhi, says any such feelings of stigma is not based on scientific evidence.
It has been seen that those who have or may have COVID-19 are being shamed publicly. When this disease does not discriminate, then why should we? Most of COVID-19 disease patients will get cured and return safely to their homes within 2 weeks. Let's fight the disease and not the disease. As a member of civilized society, it's our responsibility to help fellow citizens in their hour. So stop stigmatizing and start empathizing.
In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of some leading medical experts on COVID-19. Dr. Anant Mohan, Head of Pulmonary Medicine, AIIMS, has advised the people not to take medicine like hydroxychloroquine or anti-malarial without a prescription by a doctor.
Please do not take medicines such as azithromycin, other antibiotics, antivirals or hydroxychloroquine or other anti-malarials without a proper prescription by a doctor. Do not self-medicate.
Ms. Jacinta Gunjial, Senior Nursing Officer, AIIMS, has stressed on the need for social distancing.
Social distancing is a non-pharmaceutical infection prevention and control intervention to break the chain of infection.
Actor Sonam Kapoor appealed to the people not to go out during the lockdown to follow social distancing.
कोरोना वायरस के चलते मेरी आप सबसे अपील है कि अपने तथा दूसरों के बचाव के लिए कुछ चीजों का ध्यान रखें। जब तक बहुत आवश्यक ना हो तब तक ट्रेन से गैर जरूरी यात्राएं ना करें। रेलवे स्टेशन और प्लेटफॉर्म पर जहां अधिक भीड़ होती है वहां इन्फेक्शन फैलने का खतरा भी अधिक होता है। इसलिए अपनी तथा दूसरों की सुरक्षा के लिए इन स्थानों पर जाने से बचे तथा अपने ट्रेन यात्राओं को पोस्टपोन कर दे। आप जहां भी हैं वहीं रहिए।
The News Services Division NSD of All India Radio in its live phone-in program Samvad Today will bring you a special program on railways. In its another bilingual live phone-in program, the NSD will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. The listeners can ask questions to the experts related to passenger trains on toll-free telephone number 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-2331-4444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. These programs will also be available on our website newsonair.com and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also listen to us on the News on AIR app.
In an effort to guard against fake news being circulated on various platforms, we bring you our segment on fact-checking and mythbusters. Home Ministry has dismissed media reports that it has permitted all states to open schools. The ministry clarified that no such decision has been taken. It said all educational institutions are still prohibited to open throughout the country. The recovery rate in Gujarat is improved to 48.13% yesterday. According to the State Health Department, as many as 503 patients were discharged from various hospitals after full recovery. The highest 435 patients recovered from Ahmedabad in a single day. A report.
A total of 361 fresh cases were reported from around 19 districts yesterday. The number is less than the number of discharges reported yesterday. With this, the total number of positive cases in the state rose to 14,829. State officials informed that no fresh case was reported from Bharuch, Chota Udaipur, Dang, Bhavnagar and Devbhumi Dwarka districts from the last 5 days. The state reported 27 deaths yesterday, taking the total death toll to 915. Aparna Khund, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In Nagaland, 5 new COVID-19 cases of active have been reported this morning, registering a total of 9 patients, 4 from Dimapur and 1 in Kohima. All 5 are returnees from Chennai. Health Minister Mr. S. Pangyupom further added that all patients are undergoing proper medical treatment at COVID-19 hospitals in Dimapur and Kohima.
In Madhya Pradesh, farmers in the state will now be able to sell their entire rabi crops in one go. The central government has provided this exemption to farmers of the state. This will also protect them from the coronavirus infection, as they will not have to go out repeatedly and risk exposure. A report.
As per the official information, providing major relief to farmers producing chana, masoor and mustard under the price support scheme during ongoing Rabi season in Madhya Pradesh, the central government has removed the limit of procuring 25 quintals per day per farmer in the state under the scheme. State Farmers Welfare and Agriculture Minister Kamal Patel told that the decision will immensely benefit farmers of the state and help them a lot in saving crucial fuel and labour costs. Meanwhile, after more than 2 months under lockdown, Bhopal markets are abuzz with activity as the district administration has allowed phased opening of the markets from today. The government allowing opening of shops in a staggered manner from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. but the lockdown will continue in the city and borders of the district will remain sealed from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Jammu and Kashmir, Inspector Sameer Jilani, SHO, Rajouri, has risen to the occasion amidst the lockdown to feed the patients and attendants at Government Medical College, Rajouri. Mr. Jilani has been providing cooked packed meals to hundreds of patients and attendants at GMC Rajouri for the past 2 months. His gesture has been appreciated by patients who were quarantined at GMC Rajouri and the members of the civil society. Besides fulfilling his police duties, Mr. Jilani's efforts have provided much-needed relief to people at the hospital.
In Bihar, migrant workers are still continuing coming from different cities of the country. Over 17 lakh migrants have already reached different parts of the state by 1,135 Shramik special trains. Chief Secretary Deepak Kumar said about 6 lakh workers are scheduled to reach in the coming days. For this, 321 trains have been arranged. Maximum trains are coming from Gujarat and Maharashtra, followed by Delhi.
In Himachal Pradesh, total number of corona-infected people has gone up to 247. During the last 24 hours, 24 new cases have been reported in the state. Most of the infected persons have returned to Himachal from other states. Meanwhile, a special train carrying 271 stranded people from New Delhi arrived at Una railway station this morning. All returnees have been sent to their respective districts for institutional quarantine through state transport buses.
In West Bengal, inter-district government bus services have begun today. According to the State Transport Department sources, altogether 20 passengers are being taken into each bus, maintaining the norms of social distancing. Uses of face masks and hand sanitizers have been made compulsory. Buses run under the State Transport Corporation are also plying in the city of Kolkata and adjoining areas from this morning. Auto rickshaws are also running with maximum 2 passengers. Meanwhile, domestic flight operations from Kolkata, Bagdogra and Andal Airport will resume from tomorrow. According to latest reports, coronavirus infected deaths has touched 211 in the state so far.
In Jharkhand, government tenders and contracts for developmental schemes up to Rs 25 crores will be allotted to locally registered contractors only. Chief Minister Hemant Soren has given a go-ahead to this proposal and will soon be presented in the state cabinet for approval. The state taken by the state government is a big leap towards providing ample job opportunities to local people and labourers. With this, the stranded and skilled labourers who are returning will find an opportunity to get employed near to their homes. The Delhi government said that 792 new confirmed cases of coronavirus have been reported in Delhi during the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 15,257. This is the biggest single-day spike of fresh cases in the city. The Delhi government has confirmed that 7,264 people affected with coronavirus have been cured so far, and the recovery rate has reached to 47.61%. In the last 24 hours, 310 patients have recovered and 15 deaths have been reported in the national capital, taking the toll to 303.
Goa Chief Minister Pramod Sawant said that the government is thinking of introducing a more stringent standard operating procedure for persons entering the state from Maharashtra. He also stated that the current SOP issued by the state this Sunday will continue to be in operation. Goa government has informed the railways and the aviation offices after discussion with these ministries that a new SOP will be formulated applicable only to people entering from Maharashtra.
The Ek Bharat Shresht Bharat campaign is a mantra that gives us motivation and inner strength towards binding our own people with friendship and integrity. To this mission, various states are tied up with their neighbouring states to jointly do programs that help their people to know each other more and also pay respect each other in terms of culture, language, behaviour, cuisine and customs and good practices. In this series, we bring you a report from Mizoram, which is paired with Bihar in this campaign.
A good number of people from Mizoram frequently travel to places in Bihar for study and professional purposes, and they come back with a bouquet of ideas of language, culture, heritage, spots of Bihar. Some of the Mizo people who have spent some time in Bihar said that this major state of eastern India has a vast population. The state is a mix of Hindu, Islam, Buddhist, Jain and Christians. Sizable population belong to tribal communities having their own languages. The spring festival Holi and Chhat are indigenous and very popular to the state. While Madhubani painting is world famous, Bodh Gaya is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Irene, AIR News, Aizawl.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has paid tributes to India's first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru on his death anniversary today. The World Health Organization, WHO, has warned that countries seeing a decline in COVID-19 infections could still face an immediate second peak if they let up too soon. During a media briefing yesterday, Mike Ryan, Executive Director of WHO's Health Emergencies Program, said epidemics often come in waves, which means that outbreaks could come back later this year in places where the first wave has subsided. He said that countries in Europe and North America should continue to put in place the public health and social measures, the surveillance measures, the testing measures, and a comprehensive strategy to ensure that we continue on a downwards trajectory and we don't have an immediate second peak. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Congress weakening fight against COVID-19 pandemic, says Law Minister and BJP leader Ravi Shankar Prasad. Compulsory hotel quarantine period for Indians returning from abroad reduced to 7 days from 14 days. Centre asks states to ensure refund of extra charges. ICMR ramps up testing. 624 laboratories across India approved till now to conduct COVID-19 tests. Air Force operationalizes 2nd Squadron of Indigenous Combat Aircraft Tejas. And new areas inundated in Assam due to incessant rains. Several rivers flowing above danger mark. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.